Hi campers, my name's Caroline, and today I'm going to teach you all how to do probably my favorite camp craft ever, which is a friendship bracelet. So this is the bracelet I'm going to show you how to make today. It's called a wrap, which is like a super basic bracelet, but it has the thread wrapped all the way around it, which is why you might hear it called a staircase bracelet, because it looks like a spiral staircase, which you would think would be really hard to make, but this is actually super easy and you can all do this. And friendship bracelets are super cool because they don't even have to be bracelets. They can be an anklet or a keychain or whatever you want it to be. There really are no rules. And the other thing with friendship bracelets is that they take a little while to make, so you can do them while you're eating breakfast or before bed or really whenever you want. They're a great rainy day activity, great sunny day activity, and they're perfect for quarantine when we all have so much time on our hands. So let's get started. So now I'm going to show you how to set up the bracelet. So the first thing you need to do is pick out what colors you want and how many colors you want. So with any friendship bracelet, the more strings you have, the thicker the bracelet will be. So this bracelet, I used 6 colors, but I have 2 strands of each color. Now for a wrap bracelet, there is absolutely no specific pattern that you need to stick to, so you can have different number of strings for different colors. It is totally your call. But if you do 2 strands per color, you get this loop at the top, which makes tying on your bracelet super easy. And I'm going to show you later in the video how you can tie on your bracelet without anyone doing it for you, doing it all by yourself. So that's why I prefer the loop. So I'm going to show you how to do that method, but you can do whatever you want. So first things first, I'm going to measure out the strings. I already have these cut to the length that I need them. So if you're taking string from a roll of string or something else, then you would just cut them to the length that I'm showing you how to do. So the first thing you need to find is the free end of your string. This is the free end. I'm gonna hold that in one hand, and then I need some space to show this. So I have the free end of the string in one hand, and I'm gonna hold that around middle of my neck / chest, and then extend my arm all the way out. So I'm doing this because usually the rule for a friendship bracelet string is that it should be about an arm's length, but I personally like to have a little more slack, aka I like longer strings. So just in case if I want to make it an anklet or if I want it to be longer, I just like to have extra if I need it. So I make it about this long, and then I keep my hand on this end. So I straighten my elbow, keep my hand on both ends, and then this is going to be 1 strand of string. Now I'm going to keep my hand on this end and make the rest of the string the length of this first one. So I measured out my first string, and I'm using this as a guide to measure out the second one. And then wherever my first string meets or ends up, I'm going to cut the excess off because that's how long I want to make it. So once you're done, you're going to have 1 long string that's just folded in half so that at the top you get a loop. And this is only if you want to do the loop method to make it easier to tie later. Otherwise you would just cut different strings this length. But for the loop, I think it does make it easier. So I'm gonna do this method. And then I have a loop at the top. So I'm gonna do that for all my other colors. And all I have to do is put all of them together. So as you can see, I've kept them all with their loops at the top. They're all looped, and I've tried to put them at the same height just so that the loop, when it's tied, the loop will be the same all the way around. So I'm just going to match them all up and then just make a knot with all of them. So when I do a knot, I wrap it around 2 fingers, just because I have small hands, so it's hard for me to do 1 finger. And then, so I do wrap it around and then put the loops, or put the yeah, the loop ends through the hole that I just made. And pull. It doesn't have to be super long, but you definitely want enough room to tie it. So let's see if this one I definitely made a little longer, but you can always undo it and fix it if you made it too long. And now you have a loop at the top, a knot, and then all your strings. So hopefully this will make sense now why I have the loop. So if you can see, I'll use green, or maybe that won't show up. I'll use purple to show. So my purple strands at the top are connected in a loop. It's really just one big strand with a loop at the top. But below the knot, they look like two completely separate strings. So that's how to do the loop method, and I really prefer it. And once you have your knot, you are ready to start your bracelet. When I do my bracelets, I usually just tape them to whatever table I'm sitting at. For this video, I'm gonna show you how to make the bracelet with my bracelet tacked onto a bulletin board, just so it'll be a little easier to see. But usually I'll just do tape on a table or a clipboard or tie it around a water bottle or something, really anything that you can think of, because you can kind of make these anywhere. So now that I have my bracelet all ready to go, let's start making it. The first thing you'll need to do is decide what color you want to have come first in your pattern and separate it from the rest of the strings. Now, using that color you have chosen, we are going to start the stitches of the bracelet. So I have chosen lime green to come first, and I'm going to make the shape of a 4 over the rest of the strings. So I put a little number 4 up in the corner there, just because I actually write my 4s differently. You know, people do them differently, so just to remember the 4 that I am talking about. So you're going to make a 4 with that string over the rest of the strings, and that tail on the right side of the 4 is going to come through the middle so that it is wrapped around all of the other strings. And once you have gotten to that point right there, you are going to pull it all the way up to the top as far as you can go. And you can do this as many times as you want. Whenever you want to switch colors, you can do that. It's very easy to change your pattern. And as you do these stitches, you will notice that the spiral staircase I mentioned earlier actually forms all on its own. So you don't have to do anything to make that. That's just how the knots will align as you do the bracelet. This is what that staircase I was mentioning will look like after a couple of stitches. And once you get the knot to the bottom right corner after a couple of stitches, you just have to wrap it around the back and keep going. That's all you have to do. That makes sure that the knot wraps around the whole bracelet so that it looks like it's really spiraling. So as you can see, the green strand has wrapped super tightly around all of the other strings. Once I got this stripe to be the length I want it to be, all I have to do is pick up the next color in my pattern and repeat those steps. And this is what my bracelet looks like after a couple of stripes. I have tried as best as I can to have the different knots of the staircase line up, but this is totally not an exact science and definitely does not have to be perfectly lined up at all. In order to get the best results, you want to remember that every time you do a stitch, you want to pull that top string super tightly so that your wrap stays nice and tight. And this is what my bracelet looks like now that I've gotten it to the length that I want it to be. As you can see, again, the staircase is not perfectly lined up. I tried for the sake of the video, but it definitely got a little askew in certain places, but that's totally fine. So once you have your bracelet to the length that you want, you're going to take the remaining strands and separate them into 2 sections. Each of those sections is going to be braided and then finished off with a knot. I also wanted to quickly show how I do the braid. So I'm just going to take one of the sections, separate it into 3 smaller sections, and then do a basic 3-strand braid where I'm crossing the outer strand over the middle strand and continuing that all the way down, and then finishing it off with a knot. And this is my completely finished bracelet. All I have to do is snip off the excess string and I'm done. To tie on your bracelet, all you have to do is put one of the braids through the big loop you made at the top of the bracelet and then make a double knot with both of those braids. Earlier I mentioned that if you make a loop at the top of your bracelet, it'll be easier to tie the bracelet on yourself and you'll actually be able to do it without any help. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. So I have my bracelet here all ready to go and I have made the loop. So all I'm going to do is it's easier to do this on a surface, I think. So I'm going to put the bracelet down and put my wrist right on top of it. And then I am going to put one of the braids through the loop. Alrighty, so now I have one braid through the loop and then I just have one other braid and all I have to do is tie those together. So to make this knot by myself, this is where you really would need another person. I put one on top of the other and put it under or through the hole, which is, so basically you're just making any other knot. And then now this is the part where I would need two hands to pull these two together, but instead I put one in my teeth and pull. And obviously I need a double knot because it's easier, it won't stay on without a double knot. So I'm gonna do that again. Put one through, put one in my teeth, and pull. And there you go, all by yourself. That's it. So that is all for today's tutorial. I hope you all enjoyed and have a chance to make this bracelet. If you do make this bracelet, I would love to see it on all of camp's social media pages. And I hope you're enjoying virtual camp and are continuing to stay safe and healthy.